Diagon Alley Discoveries. Hagrid had been nervous before, but now he looked like a man who'd been asked to perform neurosurgery with a spoon. As they approached the entrance to Diagon Alley, he kept glancing at Harry with the expression of someone who'd volunteered to guide a live grenade through a china shop. Right then, Hagrid said, wiping his sweaty palms on his enormous coat, "Here we are. Diagon Alley. Most magical place in Britain, it is. You'll love it, Harry." But is it still Harry? Should I be calling you something else now? Harry smiled at the giant's genuine concern. Harry works fine for now, Hagrid. I haven't chosen a new name yet. Right. Underteater, the pronouns thing. They and 'em, wasn't it? Not gonna lie, it's a bit confusing for an old codger like me, but I'll do my best. I appreciate that, Hagrid. Really? Hagrid tapped the brick wall with his pink umbrella, and Harry watched in amazement as the entrance to Diagon Alley opened before them. But their wonder quickly turned to something else as they stepped into the bustling magical shopping district. Hagrid, Harry said slowly, scanning the crowded street, is it just me, or is everyone here really, really white? Hagrid followed Harry's gaze, looking around as if seeing the place for the first time. The street was indeed packed with shoppers, vendors, and workers, and Harry was right, it was like someone had dipped the entire magical population in bleach. Well, Hagrid scratched his beard thoughtfully. You know, I never really noticed before. But now that you mention it. It's like a Victorian Christmas card, Harry muttered. A very, very white Christmas card. As they walked down the cobblestone street, Harry's social justice senses were pinging like a broken smoke detector. Every shop owner was pale, every clerk was European-looking, and every person of authority appeared to have been selected from a very narrow genetic pool. Hagrid, where are all the non-white wizards? Harry asked, genuinely curious. Oh, they're around, Hagrid said uncomfortably. I mean, there's that fellow who runs wait, he moved to France. And there's him. Actually, now that I think about it, most of the, diverse wizarding families tend to keep to themselves. Different communities, you know. Traditional and all that. Traditional segregation, you mean? Hagrid looked deeply uncomfortable. I wouldn't put it quite like that. But that's what it is, isn't it? The magical world is just as segregated as the model world, except here it's probably been going on for centuries without anyone questioning it. Well, you see, oh, look. Gringotts. Harry allowed themselves to be distracted by the impressive white marble building, but they made a mental note to investigate the magical world's diversity issues later. Right now, they had other concerns, namely, the small mountain of gold that apparently belonged to them. The goblins at Gringotts proved to be an interesting challenge. When Hagrid explained that they needed to access Harry's vault, the goblin behind the counter, whose nameplate read Griphook, looked at Harry with the professional assessment of someone evaluating livestock. And you are Harry Potter? Griphook asked in his gravelly voice. Yes, though I use they-them pronouns, Harry said, deciding to test the waters early. Griphook blinked slowly. I beg your pardon. Pronouns. Instead of towards him, I'd prefer they and them. The goblin stared at Harry for a long moment, then looked at Hagrid as if hoping for clarification. Hagrid shrugged helplessly. Is this not a wizard thing? Griphook asked carefully. It's a human thing, Harry replied. Some humans, anyway. Griphook appeared to process this information with the speed of a computer running on dial-up internet. Finally, he nodded slowly. Very well. You will need to provide identification to access their vault. Harry grinned. Thank you. I really appreciate the effort. The effort is noted, Griphook said dryly. Though I confess, Goblin society has never concerned itself much with such distinctions. We are primarily interested in an individual's financial worth and their ability to pay interest on loans. How refreshingly honest, Harry said. The cart ride down to the vaults was stomach-churning in more ways than one. When Griphook opened Harry's vault to reveal the enormous pile of gold, silver, and bronze coins, Harry felt something twist uncomfortably in their chest. This is all mine, they asked weakly. Inherited from your parents, yes, Griphook confirmed. Quite a substantial fortune. The Potter family was always excellent at investments. Harry stared at the glittering hoard and felt sick. Hagrid, how much money is this? Oh, enough to keep you comfortable for life, I'd say, Hagrid replied cheerfully. Your parents wanted to make sure you be taken care of. But Hagrid, there are people who don't have enough money for food or housing. There are probably magical people living in poverty right now, and I'm sitting on a mountain of gold I didn't earn. Hagrid looked confused. Well, yes, but it's your inheritance, Harry. Your parents left it to you. That doesn't make it fair, Harry said, scooping some coins into their bag with all the enthusiasm of someone handling contaminated waste. This is literally wealth inequality in action. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes just because of who my parents were. Griphook watched this exchange with the fascination of someone observing a particularly interesting species of exotic bird. Most young wizards are considerably more excited about their inheritance, he observed. Most young wizards probably haven't thought about the systemic inequality that allows some people to hoard generational wealth while others struggle, Harry replied. No, Griphook agreed. They generally have not. As they rowed the cart back up to the surface, Harry was already making mental plans for wealth redistribution strategies. Surely there had to be magical charities, or educational funds, or something they could contribute to. The idea of hoarding money while others suffered made them feel physically ill. Their next stop was Ollivander's, and Harry approached the dusty wand shop with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The man who emerged from the shadows between the towering shelves looked exactly like what Central Casting would order if they needed mysterious old wizard. Ah, yes, Mr. Ollivander said, his pale eyes taking in Harry's appearance. I was wondering when I'd be seeing you, Mr. Potter. It seems only yesterday that your mother and father were in here buying their first wands. Actually, it's just Potter, Harry said. And I use they/them pronouns. Ollivander paused, a measuring tape frozen halfway to Harry's arm. I beg your pardon. Harry explained the pronoun situation again, watching as Ollivander processed this information with the careful consideration of someone translating ancient runes. I see, Ollivander said slowly. Well, wands are remarkably unconcerned with such distinctions. They choose the wizard, regardless of anything, really. The wand chooses the wizard, MX Potter. MX. The gender-neutral honorific. I may be old, but I'm not ignorant. Now, which is your wand arm? Harry was touched by the old man's effort to adapt. Right arm, sir. What followed was a bizarre ritual of wand testing that reminded Harry of the world's most magical speed dating session. Wand after wand failed to produce the desired effect, with results ranging from disappointing fizzes to what appeared to be a small explosion that singed Harry's eyebrows. Curious, Ollivander murmured, disappearing into the back of the shop. Very curious indeed. Harry waited nervously, wondering if perhaps their gender identity was somehow interfering with the wand selection process. Maybe magical objects were more binary than people? But when Ollivander returned with a long, thin box, Harry felt something shift in the air around them. Holly and Phoenix Feather, 11 inches, nice and supple, Ollivander said, presenting the wand with ceremonial gravity. Try this one. The moment Harry's fingers closed around the wand's handle, they felt a warmth spread up their arm and through their entire body. Golden sparks shot from the wand's tip, swirling around them like fireflies. Excellent! Ollivander exclaimed, clapping his hands together. How curious indeed that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar. Harry's hand went instinctively to their forehead. Its brother. Oh yes, 13.5 inches, you, Phoenix Feather Core. Voldemort's wand. The phoenix whose tail feather resides in your wand gave another feather, just one other. Very curious that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar. Harry stared at the wand in their hand, feeling the weight of destiny and symbolism. So my wand and Voldemort's wand are siblings. In a manner of speaking, yes. Though I suspect your wand will serve you very differently than his served him. Want to reflect the character of their wielders, you see. Your wand will grow with you, learn from you, adapt to who you become. Even if who I become is different from who people expect me to be. Ollivander smiled, and for the first time, it reached his pale eyes. Especially then, I suspect. After paying for the wand, and leaving a substantial tip that made Ollivander blink in surprise, Harry and Hagrid made their way to Madame Malkin's roads for all occasions. This proved to be the most challenging stop of their shopping trip. Madame Malkin herself was a squat, smiling witch who immediately began fussing over Harry like they were her favourite grandchild. Hogwarts uniform, dear? Oh, you look lovely. Now, just step up here and I'll get you sorted. Actually, Harry said carefully, I was wondering if you had any robes that were more gender-neutral. Madame Malkin's needle-holding hand froze in mid-air. I beg your pardon, dear. Gender-neutral robes. Something that doesn't emphasize traditionally masculine or feminine characteristics. The shop fell silent except for the sound of other customers turning to stare. Harry could feel the weight of their attention like a physical thing. Well, Madame Malkin said slowly, we do have standard school robes, of course. They're fairly uniform. But traditionally, young ladies prefer robes with a more fitted waist, and young gentlemen prefer. I'm neither a young lady nor a young gentleman, Harry said patiently. And non-binary. So something right in the middle would be perfect. A woman browsing dress roads nearby dropped her selection entirely. Her companion, a thin wizard with a pointed beard, audibly gasped. From somewhere behind them, Harry heard someone whisper, what in Merlin's name isn't a non-binary? Madame Malkin, to her credit, recovered quickly. Well then, let's see what we can do, shall we? I'm sure we can find something suitable. As Madame Malkin bustled around, pulling various robes from racks and muttering to herself about modern fashion trends, Harry became increasingly aware of the whispered conversations happening around them. Never heard of such a thing in my day. What are they teaching children these days? Probably just a phase, poor thing. In my opinion, it's all this Muggle influence. Harry felt their cheeks burning with embarrassment and anger, but they held their ground. They were not going to let other people's discomfort dictate their clothing choices. Here we are, dear, Madame Malkin said, holding up a set of robes that looked comfortably androgynous. These should work nicely. Not too fitted, not too loose, very practical. They're perfect, Harry said gratefully. Thank you for being so accommodating. Oh, well, Madame Malkin blushed slightly. It's not often I get to create something truly custom. It's rather exciting, actually. As Harry tried on the robes, they caught sight of themselves in the mirror and felt a surge of happiness. For the first time, their reflection looked like how they felt inside. Excellent choice, said a drawling voice from behind them. Harry turned to see a pale, sharp-faced boy about their own age, flanked by two larger boys who looked like they'd been carved from blocks of concrete. Though I have to wonder what your parents would think of their child dressing like that. My parents are dead, Harry said matter-of-factly. And I think they'd want me to be happy and authentic. The pale boy blinked, clearly not having expected that response. Fun. Well. Still, it's rather unusual, isn't it? All this gender confusion. Seems like a very Muggle problem to me. Seems like a very human problem to me, Harry replied. Which last I checked, most wizards still are. Some more than others, the boy said with a sneer. And Draco Malfoy, by the way. And you are? Harry Potter. Draco's entire demeanour changed in an instant. The sneer vanished, replaced by something that might have been awe or calculation. Harry Potter? The Harry Potter. Just Harry, Harry said firmly. And yes, I'm the one with the scar, if that's what you're asking. Incredible, Draco breathed. Wait until my father hears about this. Harry Potter, the boy who lived turning out to be whatever you are. I'm a person, Harry said, their patience-wearing Finn. Just like everyone else. Are you down? Draco asked, and there was something unpleasant in his tone now. I mean, first you defeat the Dark Lord as a baby, now you're claiming to be some sort of, what did you call it? Non-binary? Seems like you're trying very hard to be special, Potter. Harry felt something hot and angry coil in their chest. Right, because choosing to face discrimination and prejudice is definitely the easy path to attention. Well, isn't it though? Draco pressed. I mean, nobody would care about some random student, but Harry Potter making a big fuss about pronouns and gender. That's front-page news, isn't it? Before Harry could respond, Hagrid's massive hand landed on Draco's shoulder. I think that's quite enough of that, Hagrid rumbled dangerously. Harry's been through enough without some spoiled brat making it worse. Draco looked up at Hagrid's towering form and apparently decided that discretion was the better part of valor. Come on, he said to his companions. Let's go somewhere with better class of customer. As the three boys left, Harry slumped against the changing room wall. Does it ever get easier, Hagrid? What's that? Being different. Having people stare and whisper and judge. Hagrid's expression softened. Well, I reckon it depends on what kind of different you are. But Harry, I've been different my whole life, half giant, you see, and I can tell you that the people worth knowing don't care about your differences. They care about your heart. And the people who aren't worth knowing. Well, Hagrid grinned, they're not worth knowing, are they? As they finished their shopping and prepared to leave Diagon Alley, Harry reflected on their first real introduction to the wizarding world. It was magical, certainly, but it was also flawed in ways that felt depressingly familiar. The lack of diversity, the inherited wealth inequality, the immediate judgment of anything that didn't fit traditional expectations, it seemed that prejudice was just as much a part of the magical world as it was the Muggle one. But there had been bright spots too. Griphook's practical acceptance, Ollivander's respectful adaptation, Madame Morkin's willingness to accommodate. Maybe the wizarding world wasn't perfect, but at least some of its inhabitants were trying to do better. Ready to go home? Hagrid asked as they approached the leaky cauldron. Harry looked back at Diagon Alley one more time, taking in the bustling street with all its wonders and problems. Actually, Hagrid, I don't think Privet Drive is home anymore. Well? Where's home then? Harry smiled, touching the wand in their pocket and thinking about the castle that awaited them in September. I think I'm about to find out. As they stepped back into the Muggle world, Harry felt like they were carrying a piece of magic with them, not just their wand and their new robes, but something more important. The knowledge that there was a place where being different wasn't just tolerated, but where it might actually be an advantage. Even if that place had its own problems to work through. After all, nobody said fighting for acceptance was going to be easy. But then again, Harry Potter had never been one to back down from a fight. Especially when the fight was for the right to simply exist as themselves.